debate. I recognize the member for Guelph.
Morning, Madam Speaker. Pleasure to rise today to speak to the motion from the member from Algoma Manitoulin on such a vital issue as ensuring that people have access to broadband services. I fundamentally believe that broadband is an essential service, should be recognized as an essential service, and we should have a strategy in place in this province to make it an essential service. Ontario, Speaker, has a digital divide. There is no doubt about it. Most people who live in cities have access to reliable broadband internet, not always affordable, but mostly reliable. A lot of people in rural and remote parts of this province do not even have access to reliable service, let alone affordable service. And Speaker, this motion actually doesn't say the government has to deliver it right now. It says it has to deliver a strategy right now. And in some cases, that strategy might actually be working with the federal government. And so I know the members opposite, oftentimes when we have this debate about broadband services, hide behind the federal government. But that does not mean the province does not have a responsibility to ensuring that we take care of our jurisdiction and the things that are within our jurisdiction, and we develop a strategy that deals with the federal components of jurisdiction. Like, that's very common for us to actually develop strategies like that. And so I don't buy into this notion that somehow because it's regulated federally, we don't have a role to play here in developing a strategy, and specifically developing a strategy to ensure that people in rural and remote communities have affordable access and are not cut off. And I want to talk about it in three key areas, Speaker. First of all is education. We have a public education system in this province that says that everyone should have access to public education. It's pretty hard to have access to public education during a pandemic when things have gone remote and you don't have access to internet. And so if we are going to ensure that people have access to the public education they're entitled to as Ontarians, then we need to ensure they have access to affordable internet to access the education that they're entitled to as citizens, residents of this province. Secondly is healthcare, Speaker. We have a universal public healthcare system that is funded by the public and is accessible to everyone in this province through OHIP. Much of that healthcare has moved online due to the pandemic. It's understandable why. It's especially the case in rural and remote communities. If you don't have access to the internet, you don't have access to healthcare in many places right now. And so it's vital that we provide it. And the third point is small businesses. So many small businesses in this province have been asked to close to help contain the virus and support public health measures. And so when you've had to, by government mandate, have been forced to move online, and if you don't have access to the internet and the tools you need to conduct business online, it's pretty hard to do what government is asking you to do to meet public health measures. And so for all three, there's many other reasons, but I think those three are just vital in the limited time I have, Speaker. And I can tell you that serving on the SCOFIA, the Finance Committee over the summer that looked at economic recovery, and we heard from hundreds of people and thousands of hours of testimony, the number one issue that was brought up, or probably, I'd go back and look at the remarks that people made, but I'd say probably the number one issue was internet. Unreliable, unaffordable, and inaccessible in many parts of the province. And so I think it's incumbent upon us to listen to what those people said at committee, many of them small business owners, but also a number of them nonprofits, educators, and others, who said that reliable, affordable access to broadband was vital to them getting through life, period, but especially through this pandemic. So I think it's an incumbent upon us as a province to work together to ensure that we have a strategy to deliver it, and that's why I'll be supporting this motion. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Further debate?